Cad Bane loves space cantaloupe? Confirmed. Hey everyone, welcome back to another Tales of the Underworld-tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And we are back with Tales of the Underworld, Episode 4, The Good Life, Episode 5, A Good Turn, and Episode 6, One Good Deed. All right, let's transition over to voicemails. Everyone's favorite time of every episode.
I mean, honestly, with how many voicemails we have tonight, we could just skip it.
But yeah, so last week we did the Ventress arc. So go check that out if you have not already. But this week we got to do the final half of the season, the Cad Bane arc. And we might as well just jump into it. Last week you started off with the thoughts on Ventress, I believe. So I'll start off with the overall thoughts of this arc.
Do it.
And it was one of the most disappointing things in all of Star Wars. I was so disappointed by it.
It's like almost like up there with like episode 8. Like,
dude, it was just
they're just
like
it's the worst.
Again, like the first episode, like for the Ventress arc, I thought it was great. Like the first, okay, he's kid. This is how he gets brought into the underworld, the crime world, the bounty hunter world, whatever. Like, cool. You got to have intro for that. I get it. It was cool. And then it just like this should have been like a 6-episode arc. They should have fleshed it out more. It would have made more sense. But like there was two, like the transition from episode 2, the second episode to the third episode was just, it didn't make sense.
No.
At all.
He
because
was like in jail.
But he was like in jail. Okay, cool. But like when he gets out, it's like, well, when he gets arrested the first episode, or in the second episode, like he's supposed to be like a teenager. Like I feel like he's like a high school age person. He has little to no experience. But like in the third episode, when he gets out and he's coming, like the city is scared of him. Like he's this legendary bounty hunter that they're supposed to be scared of.
He's in jail for like 10 plus years or whatever it is.
Probably no longer than 10 years because, spoiler alert, that kid is Cad Bane's kid, and it's a kid. And he's definitely not a teenager at that point. And so it's like, it had to have been less than 10 years. And when he lands back on the planet and he's back, like, he's feared. And it's implied that he's, like, extra dangerous. And I'm like, how did that happen?
He's well known from prison.
Right. And it would have made sense, like, if
he broke out or something.
If that kid wasn't his kid, then okay, he could have went to jail that first time. He got out or escaped, and then he went to jail a second time, and this is like, 20 years later or something. But like that, it's implied that he got arrested in episode 2 and escaped from that prison and came back like 7, 8, 9, 10 years later. Well, Red Buff does say he shot the town sheriff. That would be scary. It would be, but I don't know. It didn't make sense to me.
No.
It was just, and it's like, okay, he has his kid. Cool. Now what?
He's a deadbeat dad.
Yeah, and it's just like, it adds nothing. Like, there's no...
It actually makes his character...
more ruthless, I guess, that he leaves his son, but it's like...
But it makes his character more, like, instead of just being a bounty hunter dude who's like BA, who just destroys people and doesn't care. He's kidnapped kids before. Like, we know he's done that. But now he is a guy who is a deadbeat dad who doesn't care and just like, I don't know. Also, like, it didn't really explain how he has a crew. Like, he just has a crew. Like, they like picked him up from jail or whatever.
Well, those guys were like, he just got on a ship and left. But like those two people, the Trandoshan,
I thought he got off. he got out of jail. That's when he got out of jail.
He got out of jail in the
Prior
third
to that
episode.
event.
In the third episode, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And they picked him up, right?
No, he was just on a shuttle.
Well, he got off the ship, but he has a crew. That's what I'm saying. Like he already had.
But it
So
was
he
the
must
two
have like.
people, but they were from the before. He was with his crew before,
Yes,
and the
that's
first
true.
and second episode.
Yeah.
So they're just part of the same, like, I don't know, syndicate in quotations. It wasn't really. They're just like some
Developed.
local, like, I don't know,
Yeah.
bounty hunter type crime people, but like mafia people. I don't know what they were. It does not really explain, but it's like, I don't know.
It doesn't give you anything. Because like like you said, like if it would have been longer, if we would have got jail time of him, like running the jail, like you know what I mean? Because you know that boy went in there and messed stuff up, and he was in charge.
Because he did have scars on his face.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he had to have gotten in fights and stuff in prison and got roughed up and whatever. But, like, we didn't see any of that.
Yeah, and like when we see Cad Bane without his tubes, everyone's thinking we're gonna see him get his tubes, and we didn't at all. Like
I can't remember if he already had him when we first see him in Clone Wars or not. I think we've talked about this before, but like, I can't.
I don't remember either. Chat, you can help us out with that.
His first
You're
appearance.
at say you binged it in 2 weeks. You should know.
Yeah,
but yeah, like I don't know. Like for me, it's just like it didn't give us any more of his character. Like Rasad, like the last one, like Rasad's Ventress, like we kind of got like it. Pretty much that whole thing was just to show like, hey, we didn't mess up the book. The book is still canon. Like that was her story that we got essentially.
Yeah, but even then, they didn't have to bring her back in the first place. Like,
yeah, like why did they bring her back? No one really knows why they.
I still think there's gonna be
feel
more,
like,
but
well, and I also feel like after like doing the podcast last week, I was thinking about it a little bit, and I'm like, I feel like they really wanted people to watch the finale of Bad Batch, and that was a good way to get people to sit down and actually sit down and watch it. Because we know a lot of people, like I know a lot of people that watched the first 2 seasons of Bad Batch and for some reason haven't even opened up season 3. Like Andrew hasn't. And it doesn't really make any sense for us because that boy loved the first 2 seasons.
Right.
So like, so I don't know if that was like one of their ways to get people to watch it. Like, oh, here's your favorite character. She's back. Like, but it's kind of unnecessary.
Yeah, Retzi says there were a few episodes when Cad Bane didn't have his tubes in the Clone Wars. So I think he had interaction with Jedi, probably Anakin, and got force choked.
Yeah.
And like, oh, I can't breathe, so I'm going to get these breathing tubes in so I can't get force choked. But, like, and also people were wanting...
Or he interacted with Dooku.
Or that...
I feel like
did he ever work for Dooku? I don't...
maybe.
I don't remember that.
I can't see Anakin choking him.
Red Buff is like, it's like the Morgan arc from Tales of the Empire. We just wanted the Beskar staff origin, but it just appeared. Yeah.
I don't know. People hated on that arc. I liked it because it gave us a character that we didn't really know a lot about her. So it kind of did help.
But I don't know. Whatever. Go listen to Tales of the Empire Morgan Elsbeth arc for our whole breakdown of that story.
But yeah, for me, it's just like they could have done so much with this and like with his character, and they just didn't do it.
The thing that they like a Cad Bane story that they should have done was that deleted Clone Wars episode where it was Boba Fett versus Boba Fett, and that's how Boba Fett gets that ding in the helmet is because he got shot by Cad Bane.
That would have made sense, and they already have a lot of it already developed.
Well, right. But they had to restart it, basically. They can't just use this. But still, like, they have the story, they have the ideas. Like, that's something people wanted and people would really like to have seen. But, like, this, doesn't add to the story. It just
No.
shows that he was a kid, got caught up in with a bad guy, saw him as a mentor, sought revenge, got arrested, and then sought revenge again. And
And that
I
was
don't know.
it.
I still we'll get to it, but his friend Nero stealing his girlfriend like that's kind of. I know it takes two to
Yeah.
tango, and like so she has probably gave consent, wasn't just in love with him as he was with her, but like it's just I don't know. It was just whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll just jump into now episodes now. But so the first episode, The Good Life. I don't think it said the name of the planet slash city or anything, but I'm assuming it's Duros or Duro or whatever name, just because that's so many of that species, Cad Bane species, the Duros. So it's like a city, kind of not that great, kind of reminiscent of like New York City with like the train track like above the street, like the pillar, like the whatever, like holding the street
Yeah.
up, like very reminiscent of that.
Or
Kind of
even like
probably
Chicago.
kind of like some of those old like what's that? There's like that movie with like the kid, like the newspaper kids or something like that. What
The
is that?
Newsies.
Is that what it is? Doesn't they have that
Yeah.
same thing? Kind of like that kind of like
Well, that was
feel
in
of
New
like
York, so that would make sense.
kind of like that feel of this like kind of like that old school like old
Yeah.
fashioned type of city, kind of like run down
When's
whatever.
the last
And
time you seen that movie?
25 years ago. But like this is that was the only movie I can think of off the top of my
At
head that had
PK
that same like
Retreat?
probably. But
Similar story, honestly, if you really think about it. Like kids on the street trying to
yeah,
survive.
that's kind of like what I
Yeah,
was thinking. So, but there's other movies like that too that
for
were
sure. For sure. It's
same
a
kind of setting. And throughout the series, the city keeps getting like nicer and nicer. Like it's just getting like better, not as crappy. And then by the end, it's kind of like a booming, good city, nice city. Um, but we're going along, and there's just two kids running around having kind of fun, looking for food. They watch the news. There's like a little news thing, space news, and it's just kind of like there's this, gang fighting, blah blah blah. But the kids are poor. They're kind of like someone like calls them a bunch of rats or something like that. And so,
street rats.
yep,
It's Aladdin. That's what it is.
that too. But it's Cad Bane, and his real name is Colby. Um, and we never get why he changes his name. They never tell us.
Yeah, it's also stupid.
Like,
That's an easy story arc they could easily tell.
it could have been something like in that second episode, like that mentor guy could have been like his name could have been Bane, and then like, but he called Colby Cad, and so then when he kind of like took over his hat, he kind of like combined the names Cad Bane. Like it could have been that. It would
Hmm.
have been super easy, and they didn't do anything like that. It was kind of lame, but whatever. And his friend's name is Nero. Um,
He looks like a Nero though.
I don't know what a Nero looks like. Sorry,
Green.
green, but
All Neros are green.
um, so they're just kind of like running around, messing with stuff. They kind of look through this like store or whatever. There's food and stuff. But they're kind of like this one store, like convenience store, is kind of like the central like location for all three episodes. Everything happens around there. And this guy looks like Cad Bane, which ends up being his mentor. He's just watching him with the hat. You see with the hat. And the kids are just running around. They're looking for or wanting crunchies, which I guess is now the canon name for space candy. Is that what
On this planet,
on this planet? So crunchies is Duros candy, I guess. I don't know. And then while they're looking through the dumpster looking for food, they see a droid named CB, who's taking groceries home, I guess, full of fruit, bag full of fruit, and the kids they pull rotten fruit out of the garbage, and they're like, all right, we're gonna mess with him, and so they mess with him, blah blah blah. They knock his stuff out, and they're kind of like swapping bad fruit with good fruit and messing with it and moving really fast so the droid can't pay attention to what's getting swapped in and out. And so the kids get away with what I think are space cantaloupe.
Bruh.
And so they went into some alley and they just smash open the fruit and start eating it. And then this guy, this mentor guy, he comes. I don't even know. Did we even get a name? Oh, it was Laszlo.
Mm-hmm.
Which Laszlo isn't that? Is that the name of the teddy bear thing from
From Toy
Toy Story
Story?
3?
I think so,
Laszlo?
yeah.
Is that his name?
Chat, help us out. It sounds familiar.
Laszlo. This is with it spelled with a Z, but maybe in Toy Story it's spelled with an S rather than a Z. I don't know. Laszlo. But there's a lot of Laszlos I feel like in random movies. But while they're eating, this Cad Bane looking guy, Laszlo, he comes in and just talks to him a little bit and tosses them just a free coin. Lotso.
Oh, cool.
Once again, Uretzi's in it for the win. Thank you, Uretzi. You're the best.
Close enough.
Because he watches the kids do that scheme with the swapping of the fruit with the thing. And it's like, okay, I can do this. So he gives them the coin. And they're like, well, what's this for? Just it's an investment. And so the kids, cool, they got all this money. They've never seen money before, apparently, because they don't know how much it's worth or what they can get with it. And so they go to that store. They walk in. They're walking around the store owner. He's just watching them, making sure they're not stealing anything. And so they're walking around trying to find food, and they finally find the Crunchies. And they just load up on Crunchies. They go to pay for it. I should say, before they paid for it, they notice there's a back room, and there's a guy that lets people in a special knock, people going back. So there's something shady going in the back. And so they go pay for their stuff and give the coin to the guy, and the guy can't believe how much money they just have. So apparently this coin is worth like, I don't know, $100 or something. And they only got like $20 worth of candy or something. So he basically takes the whole coin and for himself, kind of. But the next scene, they're just at their hideout home, wherever they're living, some attic somewhere. I don't know where they are, some whatever. And they're just stuffed their face, and they're just eating candy and just living the kid's dream of just eating candy and whatever. And we get kind of a little bit of information, like Nero asked Cad or something about his parents or whatever. Like, do you miss your parents? And Cad's basically like, no. So that's a whole story. Like, how did he become by himself? Like, what happened?
Mm-hmm.
It would be nice to know, because obviously it's not like they died or something, because then he would miss them. But now here it's like, I don't miss them. So it's like he ran away. They abandoned him. I don't know. We'll never know. There's a police chase, and there's a crash. The kids are watching it. They all think it's all cool. Next morning, the kids are basically hungover from the candy. They're just like laying there dead in the alley. I guess they're in an alley. And so then the businessman, I call him a businessman. He's like, because he's an investor. He's like, you want more money? Like, blah, blah, blah. And, they're just walking, and he's like, yeah, that storefront, it's just a shady thing, but they have something going on in the back room that's conflicting with my business interests. And I just need you guys to help out, and I will pay you 5 times what I paid you the day before. And Colby, which is Cad, he's like kind of excited, but then Nero was like, I don't know about this. This is kind of shady. We shouldn't do this. So then Cad turns around, we'll do it for 10. And so the businessman, he's like, yep. Lotso, he's like, yep. Or not Lotso, Laszlo. I'm getting the name picked up. He smiles and then, all right, cool. This is going to be a good investment, because he knows how to negotiate. So basically, the kids just go in the back alley by the back door and start just dumping trash out, kicking cans, and making a distraction so that the guy in the back room comes out and yells at him, and then uh, Laszlo's team, they go into the front to like rob it, basically, and then it's time for the kids to run, and then the guy that's in the back, he's like chases the kids, and then Laszlo shoots and kills that guy in front of the kids. And so then they just start running. Cops are being dispersed, chasing them down, and then Cad/Colby, he runs across the street intersection thing, and a police car pulls in, and then Nero hits the hood of the police car and gets caught. And Cad has a choice to run to safety with his new crime syndicate friends, whatever, gangsters, or go back for his friend and get arrested also. And he chooses to go with his new mentor and crime people, crime lords, whatever. And that's the end of the first episode. The Good Life. So, it's whatever. Like I said, I thought this was a good intro episode to introduce us to this Colby and how he became Cad Bane. And then it's kind of downhill after that. So, any thoughts on the first episode, Drew?
Nope.
All right. Episode 5, A Good Turn. Which all of these episodes are like, none of them make sense for the titles, but whatever. So we're on a new planet. It's like a factory planet of some sort. And the team that it's like the same, like two guys, a Trandoshan, one guy with like the goatee handlebar thing, and then Laszlo are there, and it's kind of like they're kind of hideout with a bunch of other people, and you got teenage Cad Bane, has a very much more higher pitched nasally. He kind of sounds a little nerdy, I don't know, but he's there, and there's another Duros there, a female, Arin, Arin, and it's kind of implied that they're a couple. And so there's some mission that they gotta go on, but Laszlo tells Cad to stay back. Like, this is a bigger mission. You need to stay back. You need to watch what's going on here. Blah blah blah. And Cad Bane is not happy. So he's just sad that he didn't get to go on a mission. So we don't know if this is like a chronic issue where Cad Bane wants to be part of action and he just never gets put in, or if this was just because it was a super high stakes mission. We don't know.
Yep.
But he's playing cards in the next scene with his girlfriend. He's super sad, bummed out, not happy. And then off in the distance, a starship is coming in hot. On a big smoke trail behind it. I go, oh no, this is not good. It crashes into the landing bay area and says, Laszlo is dead. He was shot by police back on their home planet. And Cad Bane picks up the hat that his mentor had and puts it on and basically is like, I'm going to wreak havoc. I'm going to seek revenge on and avenge his death. So, all right, cool. So, he goes back to his home planet, probably assumingly the first time since he left. And he just goes by that store again. And he's there with his girlfriend. And while he's there, Nero walks up. I'm like, hey, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. I think it was Cad was more happy to see him. I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Excited to see his old friend. And Nero was not eager to hug him. Like, he kind of gave like a half hug type of thing. half embrace, and Cad's like, "Oh, my friend, he's gonna be on my side. He's gonna help me find who killed my mentor." And he's like, "Do you know what happened here? Are you gonna help me?" Blah blah blah. And Nero is just basically, "Nope." And he opens up his like chest pocket and pulls out a police badge, and I am a deputy now. And he's like, "Did you shoot my friend?" Blah blah blah. And for some reason, Nero's like throws his boss under the bus. No, it was the marshal that did it. Oh, okay. Thanks for giving up information that no one knew. That so now we know Cad Bane's like is after the marshal. Whatever. It's kind of stupid. Uh. So he goes. I'm trying to think. I think it was back at the. I think it's with Cad Bane and his girlfriend, like back at their ship or whatever, just talking about things. And she's just like, Aaron's like, you gotta let this go. There's no reason to seek revenge. Just get over it. We gotta go. This whatever. And Cad Bane's like, nope, I'm out of here. And he goes back, and she kind of says this line that if you don't watch it more than once, and you're not gonna catch it, but it only makes sense after watching the third episode. She says, like when telling him to stay back, like there's more at stake than you realize. Because spoiler alert, she's pregnant, and so like she's probably not a teenager, probably not teens, probably in her 20s. I'm assuming, just to keep it more whatever. But like
What, Jeremiah? What are we keeping them more?
family friendly.
Oh, okay. They're of age.
And so then we see in the next scene, Nero is talking with the marshal, and like it's just kind of like this weird awkward conversation. But the marshal's like, you gotta be ready though. Like we don't know what's gonna happen. Like I know he's your friend, but you gotta be prepared for everything. What could happen? Just be ready, type of thing. Cad Bane goes to the shop again and blows it up. Apparently, he got explosives somehow. He must have had him on a ship. I don't know. Blows it up. Marshall goes, and as the marshal goes, and they can also like, Erin sees the explosion in the distance also, so she goes to go stop Cad Bane or whatever, confront him. The marshal arrives at the scene, and all the police droids, they're down, they're dead on the ground. And then it's like panning around, and we see Cad Bane leaning up against one of the pillars of like the train track thing. And classic Cad Bane stance where he's just leaning up against something, waiting for someone to come into the scene so he can say something. And so it's just like a standoff, like between the marshal and Cad Bane. They're kind of talking to each other, blah blah blah. And while all this is happening, Nero, he like leaves the police station even though he's supposed to stay back. He comes and he just yells to tell him to stop. And that was enough to like distract the marshal. So then Cad Bane shoots, and then the marshal shoots. The marshal falls to the ground, and I think so. Then Aaron was standing behind Cad Bane and kind of like yells or whatever, and Cad Bane's like, "We gotta get out of here. Let's go, let's go." And she's like, "No, I can't," and she was shot. And so he can't run because his girlfriend's there, and then like they get surrounded by police, and Nero's there. They're pointing guns and whatever, and
It's a mess.
yep. And so then Cad Bane, he's ready to take on the whole city basically, but then Aaron throws a gun into the middle between them and Nero, and Cad Bane looks down, and it was his gun. So she threw the gun because she wanted them to surrender, and she's like, "I'm doing this for our future." Blah 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 blah. But he just killed a man, so whatever. And so Cad Bane, he's arrested, and Nero says, "I hope your revenge was worth it," and then Cad Bane's like, "It will be," and that's it. That's the end of the episode.
Yep. I guess it does kind of make sense that he killed their sheriff, so by him going back, everyone would be scared.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Still dumb.
It's so dumb. Like if this was like played out more, like a whole 6-episode thing, I think it would have been a lot better story. But it's like too much happened in the second episode to like jump to like a conclusion in the third one with like not any explanation. Like
Yeah.
it's just like, what are you doing? You set up this huge thing that he's like arrested, and then you leave out so much between,
Yeah.
or don't even like make a story between that makes sense to like make him the scary bounty hunter guy.
Hmm.
That whatever. So I don't know, but if you are contemplating seeking revenge and your girlfriend or significant other is trying to calm you down, Drew, what would you recommend?
Tea.
Tea? Anything
Yeah,
else?
calm. Go. I mean, you can have coffee too, but I would recommend tea.
Tea.
Nice green oolong tea. It's relaxing. Calm down. Breathe a little bit. Do the whole tea ceremony too. That'll help.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, yes. So our sponsor today sells tea. Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea. You know, everyone forgets about the tea because coffee is a bigger drink apparently socially than tea
In the U.S.
in the U.S. But if you're looking for some good coffee or tea, check out this commercial from our sponsor, Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea.
Hey everyone, Andrew here. I'm pleased to tell you that the sponsor of today's episode is Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea. If you don't know anything about Wesley Andrews, you definitely should. They're an award-winning coffee roaster and shop in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they make fantastic coffee. The awesome thing is that whether you live in the Twin Cities or not, you can get their coffee beans delivered straight to your door by ordering them online. They even have a subscription service that ensures you never run out of amazing coffee. If you've been looking for some new coffee to try or a way to elevate your normal coffee routine, now's your chance. Head over to wesleyandrews.cc, use the code Empire Radio, that's with a capital E and a capital R with no space at checkout, to get 15% off your first purchase of any bags of coffee or a coffee subscription. I can't think of a better deal. Get 15% off some great coffee, support a small business, and support your favorite Star Wars podcast. In the words of Emperor Palpatine, do it.
Do it.
Do it.
All right. So last episode, one good deed. And so again, we're back at the city, the home planet, and it's booming. Everything they've been they've been building up that city, looking nice. There's like plants and like parks and stuff. Like dang, city's working up. Like the police are doing their job. They're getting rid of the crime. They're I'm assuming since that whole crime guy, the Laszlo got killed, and them pushing back like against all the gang fighting and stuff. Like the city's booming. People aren't scared to live there anymore, so they're moving in, making it prosperous. But while we're seeing the nice city, we see a Trandoshan on a speeder bike zipping through town, almost crashing into people, smashing stuff because he's rushing to get somewhere. And he goes to a landing pad area and to talk to. And so he has the Trandoshan that we've seen in earlier episodes, and then he goes to talk to the guy with the goatee handlebar thing, and like I'm assuming it was like an undercover police officer, scout type person. He's like watching this go down, and he's like commenting like, "Hey, Cad Bane's and Laszlo's crew, like two of them are back in the city on the same day, and they're meeting up together. Like this is shady, and they're coming into to Nero back at the police station, who's now the marshal. And so he's like, if Cad comes, Cad's not going to come back because he's on Toronto, is the name of the planet where the prison is. He's like, he still got 5 more years in prison, Cad Bane. And these 2 other guys, they paid their dues. They did their time. Like, they're free people. They can go wherever they want in a city like this. They're not committing any crimes. And then, like, the guy at the desk is like, well, actually, I just looked up Cad Bane on the database, and he's getting out early on a technicality. And there's actually a shuttle from Toronto coming here today at noon. Like, oh, dang. And so, emergency session at town hall, like the mayor and the council, they're like, this is not good. We're worried. I guess I'm jumping the gun a little bit. So as Nero is talking, a kid sneaks in. And they, oh, cool. He has a son now. Stakes are higher. And they're talking about Cad Bane is, in fact, coming. And we find out that the kid's name is Isaac. Spelt like English Isaac, which is, like Aaron was spelt like a different way than we would normally spell either male or female Aaron. This is this regular Isaac, Isaac. Like, okay, so that's going on. So this kid, like, who's the kid? Like, okay, he's this kid. So then it goes to the mayor and the city council, and they're worried. And they're basically like, when he gets here, just kill him. I'm like, what? You can't do that. Like, what do you mean? Like, they're that scared of this guy that they just want to, like, shoot on sight, like, instantly. And it's like, one, he's a free man, technically. Like, he's not committing a crime by being back on his home planet. So you can't just, like, shoot him, obviously. And, Nero's like, no, I'm not going to do that. He's a free man. He can do whatever he wants. Goes back to the police station. They're talking more. Like, the kid, Isaac, he's on the police computer reading Cad Bane's file. I'm like, how is this even allowed?
How is he even able to do this?
Like, part of me wanted to, like, think that the kid was going to figure out who he was on his own.
Yeah.
But that never happened. Cops are still worried about what's going down. Nero goes to the local bar, cantina thing, and confronts one of Cad Bane's accomplices, associates, whatever, the guy with the goatee thing. And they just kind of talking smack, and the guy's like, a storm is a brewing. Get ready. And tells the bartender to give Nero a shot because it's going to be his last. And so Nero grabs it and then dumps it on the counter. Like, oh, dang. Then we just see a moment where Nero walks by the shop, the convenience store, or whatever, storefront. It's all like boarded up. Space graffiti on it, all kinds of stuff. Like, the one thing left in the city that hasn't been fixed up is this one storefront. Like, oh, dang, kind of sad. Cad Bane then arrives at the spaceport. His associates are there to welcome him, and he's like, "What's the situation?" And he looks so much older, so much more rugged. And it's only been less than 10 years, and this guy is, so it's like, whatever. I guess prison does bad for skin quality, I guess. I don't know. And makes your voice more raspy. And they're basically
all those F sticks that get smuggled in there.
Yep. And Cad Bane arrived, and he's like, all right, I want to find Aaron. And like, oops, she's not around. Also, your former best friend Nero married her while you were in prison. What is kind of story is this? Like, I don't know. It was just whatever.
It was.
But for Nero, it was the other one.
Wait,
No, that one right there. It was whatever. um, whatever. So Nero then later, next scene, he just has the droid watch the kid, Isaac, and he's like, take the kid home, keep him safe, blah, blah, blah. And then a bunch of the police droids, they roll out. They each grab a blaster on their way out. The council is worried. They jump to the council. The council's talking, and they're just worried, like, Cad Bane's going to find about Aaron. This is not good, blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, oh, no, Isaac, what's going to happen with Isaac? So they're freaking out, blah, blah, blah. And then we just see Cad Bane walking through the town, through the city, through the streets. Everyone's like, it's like some old Western, right? Everyone's like, creeping behind a pole, looking
everyone's
out a
like
door.
looking, shutting their
Space doors.
closing the saloon early and stuff.
Right. And it's just like, whatever. So he's just walking, and he walks to the police station. And so he gets there. Backup for both sides show up. So the Cad Bane's two guys, they're up on top. And then police droids come and they're like protecting the front. And then the droid that's taking Isaac home stops at a red light. And the kid jumps out. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, this droid is definitely getting his mind wiped and getting fired. Like, I don't know how this kid does not have his space seatbelt on. Do they have seatbelts in Star Wars?
I don't think so.
Like, maybe like TIE fighters do or something. But like, I feel like every time we see people, they're just kind of like jumping
People
in and
on
out.
speeders, they just jump in and out all the time. Like Anakin, in episode 2.
Yeah. But that's Anakin.
But it could be they just don't buckle.
I guess.
Always buckle your seatbelt, kids.
Yep. So Isaac goes to run to be with Nero, and then there's the kid is there at this police station, and Cad Bane like, whoa, what do we have here? Blah blah blah, and then there's like a shootout, and so the kid's like being like pushed in the corner, and Nero's trying to protect him. The droids, they kill the guys up top, and then the guys up top kill the droid, so it's just Nero and Isaac there, and then Cad Bane is there. And to protect Isaac, Nero walks away down onto the street so that gunfire would be away from the kid. Smart move, dad. Adoptive dad. And Nero's like, yeah, Aaron wanted to share something with you, but never got the chance, basically. And he's like, I'm not talking about this, blah, blah, blah. It's just you and me, standoff. And they shoot. And the marshal misses. Nero misses completely. Like, I don't know, whatever. But Cad Bane, I think he used 2 pistols and shot Nero twice. Kid runs over, crying,
Poor
sad.
kid.
Poor
Has
kid.
like the most trauma in the world.
Yep. And Cad Bane walks up to Nero dying on the ground and is like, you took everything from me. And Nero is like, not everything. And the kid looks up at Cad Bane. Cad Bane looks at the kid. And then Cad Bane's eyes widen just a little bit when he realizes what happened, that this was his son. And then he leaves. That's it. This is how it ends. I'm like, this is lame.
It's
Like,
sad.
It's sad. But like,
For that kid, a poor
poor kid
His
saw
dad that he didn't even know.
he probably didn't. Yeah, he probably never knew that he was adopted by this guy.
And then his
Thought it
dad
was
that
dead.
he thought was his dad got murdered in front of him.
Yep.
Like,
And he's never gonna know who this Cad Bane guy. I'm wondering who knows. I'm guessing everyone knows that, other than the kid, that this was Cad Bane's son, because the council was freaking out about it.
yeah, I think so.
And so it's like, I guess eventually the kid will be told the true story, but he's a kid. He's not gonna. You shouldn't probably tell him this is happening, but
It's just sad. The whole thing
yeah.
is just sad.
But it's like, I don't
And it
understand how
makes
we
Cad Bane look like a worse character.
like it. I don't know. It just seems like whenever we see him in Clone Wars and Bad Batch and stuff, he's just a gun for hire. Like, he'll do anything for the right price.
Yep.
And it seems like that's just the life he chose.
Yep.
But then, like, they put this story in there, and it's like, what does
Makes
him
his
leaving?
character literally worse.
Like,
Doesn't help.
It doesn't do anything. Like, it doesn't add to it. It just, there's no, like, it doesn't change like a motivation. It doesn't like give him motivation. Like,
No, it just makes all of his choosing worse. 'Cause he leaves this kid on this planet without a dad now.
or a mom. So
Or
it's
a
like
mom.
both. So it's just an orphan kid. So his son became what he was, an orphan or
hated.
something by himself. And so now he's probably like, I wish they kind of like would have showed that, like, where Cad had some sort of regret, like having that realization that his son is now in the same position as him. Like, I don't know.
Or I wish that, okay, I don't wish, but if he would have if Cad Bane would have accidentally shot his own kid
Right.
and left Nero alive, and he feel like Nero's like, dude, that was your own kid you killed. So you actually lost everything by your own doing. Then it would make Cad Bane more enraged. You know, like
Right.
like an Anakin story. Like,
Right. But
yeah.
it didn't happen, so it happened this way. And that's it.
Have you seen like the stuff in like Fortnite, the Star Wars Fortnite stuff at all?
Not
Like
really.
clips? So I'm really mad, and I apologize for not streaming this, but you can beat Vader and then he joins your squad. But it's super cool because it's like AI, so you can have full on conversations with Vader. So like the first question I asked him was like, "Why did you kill your wife?" And then his response is like, "Why do you bring up the path? Padme was weak." Like, it's so funny,
Whoa.
dude. Like, it's hilarious, bro. Like, and you can just like make him say whatever you want. Like, just have a full on conversation with him. And I'm really, really sad I didn't stream it because it was so funny, dude. Like, it's like we're just trolling Vader, like asking him these questions, and he's like, "Why do you call me that?" And I was playing. Who was I playing? General Grievous. He's like, General Grievous, that was so what did he say? He's like, young Padawan, you're not a master yet, like me. And like, it's just like so funny. It's hilarious. So
Fun.
it's only there for one more day.
Oh, damn.
By the time you guys hear this, it's probably
gone.
But it's pretty cool. And you can get into the Death, or not the Death Star, you can get in Star Destroyer and just shoot people down, which is pretty cool.
Fun.
Yeah, it's actually really sweet.
Cool.
And I have Darth Jar Jar now as a skin, which is pretty cool.
And is that like a permanent skin you can use forever?
I own it. Yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
What other permanent skins can you get
For Star Wars?
Yeah.
Well, I have the Mandalorian. There's like Boba Fett, Dark Chrysanthemum. Pretty much everyone from the Mandalorian show you can have as a skin. I have a Luke. I have Vader. Troopers. I have all like the Ahsoka, and then I have the Clone Wars Ahsoka, and like all these Clone Wars. Maul. I have Maul. I have General Grievous. Now he came out, and then Palpatine. Yeah, there's like a lot, so it's really cool. And just run around as old man Palpatine, shocking people. It's pretty fun. So
Fun. All right. Well, any final thoughts on Tales of the Underworld, the Cad Bane arc?
no.
All right. Well, then that means it's time to transition over to everyone's favorite time of every episode, voicemail time.
It's voicemail time.
All right. Well, last week we recorded super late and we had tons of voicemails, so I didn't play all of them because there was 5 last week from Shadrick. And he also sent in an additional 2.
So there's 7.
So there's 7 from Shadrick. So if you're a fan of Shadrick, this is the episode for you.
Buckle up.
Buckle up. So I think whatever it was, a few weeks ago, when he called in, he was just like, I've been so behind on Star Wars, I'm trying to get caught up. And so now he's kind of like talking about
reacting to
things that he's been watching. So, and I kind of go back and forth between some stuff. So let's get into number 1.
Hey guys, Shadrick checking back in. I finished Bad Batch. Wow. I think that show would have been 10 times better if half of season 2 just got cut out.
Dang.
They should have just made that show 2 seasons, but either way, the 3rd season was amazing, and it really actually got me to grow on Omega a lot. First, I wasn't really liking Omega. This is what I question when Star Wars introduces a new character. Why am I supposed to like this person? Why are they going to be important? And they answered that. Literally that episode, the Prison Break episode with Omega helping the kids break out and stuff, her being a leader, that was freaking awesome. I want to see more of that. And I wouldn't mind some type of Omega show. I don't know. Also, I'm on episode 4 of Andor right now. Slow start. It's very slow start, but I'm not minding it so far. It's looking good.
All right.
Season 1 or 2?
Season 1. He didn't clarify that. We'll get that more information going too. But he's
I was just like, bro, what are you talking about? Slow start.
Andor for the first time, so he's doing that. Cool. But I'm glad that you liked season 3 and the conclusion and of Andor or of Bad Batch and liking Omega and all that stuff. And so, like, that's a good point that he makes about new characters. It's like we need to care about them and they need to be important. Yeah. And they did that really well with Omega. Like, she's one of my favorite female characters. I think she was my number 2 when we did that. And so she's super awesome as a character arc. And, when you take time to flesh out a character, it's great. But like in Tales of the Underworld, you have Nero and stuff, and you don't flesh them out. Like, it's just like, we don't really care. So listen up, Disney. Longer project.
Tales.
Well, Tales can be good. I still really liked Dooku and Barriss and the Ahsoka stuff, but like, I don't know. Dave Filoni, if you're listening, text me and we can talk about some ideas if you need some help. But next up, Shadrick's second voicemail.
And speaking of Andor, I'm in the middle of watching episode 4 right now, and they just dropped. Well, Andor just dropped that he was in the Battle of Mimban, and that talking about straight into the mud. And I was like, man, that sounds familiar. It turns out that's the same battle Han Solo fought in the Solo movie. So, young Han and young Andor were fighting together at one point and didn't even know it. I thought that was a pretty cool connection. And Kenari, can y'all, I don't know if it's a big spoiler, but can y'all, remind me, if we've seen this planet before or heard of it before, Andor? Because Kenari, that sounds so freaking familiar. It's driving me nuts, but I'll keep y'all updated.
All right, cool. I do not think we've had
don't think
Canary
so.
before. I think it's just we think of like a canary bird, and so it's Canary. Kind of sounds like that. And yes, I do remember that reference about the battle at Mimban or whatever it was called, that from the Han Solo movie. I remember we talked about it when it happened, but I can't remember that scene exactly how it played out when Andor talked about it, because I felt like he was not. I can't remember. Maybe he was pretending he was there or something, like he lied about it. I can't remember. But yes, it's a cool tie, and then it would have been cool if Cassian and Han Solo were on that same planet during that same battle, and Andor was probably, I don't know, fighting against the Empire, or like just like trying to survive while on that planet when the battle was happening. Who knows?
Well, kind of like Han was just trying to survive. He didn't really care to fight.
Well, yeah, but he was sent there to fight, though. He was a
Yeah, true.
mud trooper.
But yeah, it's kind of cool to think about too, because Han technically helped fund the rebellion. So
Yeah, they both ended up being on the same side at the end of the day, but one died before the other joined.
yep,
Spoiler alert.
a couple days.
Huh?
A couple days.
Right.
It's like 2 ships in the night, literally.
Yep. All right. Next up, number 3 from Shadrick.
Hey guys, this is Shadrick. I just wanted to say some more things about Bad Batch, just kind of rush that. Like I said, I wasn't the biggest fan of the show. It was still pretty good. I loved the show overall, but the finale was really good. I want to say, like, the part where Hunter, Wrecker, and Crosshair, and I think Rex, all had to team up to fight those tough, like, clones they were making or whatever, the ones with the vibro blades. And I don't know, I just kept getting goosebumps every time, like, the clones would help each other out. Especially the random clone. There was even a random clone that helped him out towards the end, which I thought was pretty cool. And man, it sucked seeing Crosshair lose his hand. He was one of my favorites. He was so freaking cool, and he lost his hand. And I am so mad I didn't get to see an old man Crosshair or Wrecker. I am thankful we got Hunter, but where's old man Crosshair and Wrecker? That would have been awesome to see them. But maybe in the future, I hope.
Yep. I think it was just they wanted that sentimental scene of like the father figure,
Father and son,
you
or
know,
daughter.
sending his daughter off to join the rebellion. I think that's all it was. But yeah, I still remember when Crosshair's hand got sliced off. Like, dang, dude, this is a TV
Kids show?
PG kids show, and there's chopping people's hands off. But classic Star Wars, people's hands get chopped off, so
Yeah, that's fair, actually.
it happens to the best of us.
Absolutely.
And because I have both of mine, I'm not one of the best of us. So I guess
Facts. And I'll take that L.
yeah.
That is one best of us I don't need in my life.
Yep. All right, number 4 from Shadrick.
Wow, Andor has flipped for me a lot. I love it right now. Ever since the heist episode, I've just been hooked. The heist episode is one of the best Star Wars episodes, I should say, I've seen in a while. I haven't felt that intense in a while for a Star Wars property. Like, with the hostages and, like, the kid being involved as a hostage, I thought the kid was going to get shot for a second. I was like, what the heck is
Oh,
going
honey,
on?
just wait, bro.
This show is dark. And then them escaping in the meteor shower or whatever that was amazing to see. And then I freaking gasped when Andor just shot the dude. I mean, I don't blame him, but he just blasted him. I was like, oh crap, the guy that was about to betray him. But like I said, right now I'm in the famous prison. I'm on episode 10, and wow, I just want to say the
Ooh.
cliffhanger gave me chills because Andor was asking his manager leader or whatever, like, how many people are on the level, and he just wouldn't tell him the whole episode. But man, when they seen that old man die at the end of the episode, which was gut wrenching, holy crap! And then Andor asked him again. He said no more than 12. It gave me chills that he finally gave him an answer. I am loving the show. I can't wait to binge the
Oh,
rest.
just
I can't wait
wait.
to catch up to y'all.
Yep, you're at a doozy.
I understand why he sent in so many voicemails now.
Yep. Yep. I don't know what else to say. There's a lot of crap hits the fan in season
Buckle up,
one,
Buttercup.
but more crap hits the fan in season 2. What was that, number 5 or 4? That was 4.
Yes.
Number 5.
I just wanted to leave this email here to let you guys know I have not listened to the new pod episode, so I have not got to listen to voicemails or anything. So sorry if I haven't been replying to anything you guys have been saying, or you think I'm just ignoring you guys or whatever, or some things are not making sense I've been saying, but I will listen to all of them eventually. I cannot wait to catch up because I'm going straight to season 2 after season 1, so you ain't gotta worry about waiting forever, I guess. But I can't wait to get to the new episodes. See you guys.
All right, cool. Yep, we expected you not to be listening to those episodes that you sent in during the Andor breakdown, so no big deal. But number 6 is up.
Hey guys, Shadrick here. Finished season 1 of Andor, and wow, I am amazed how good of a Star Wars show it is. I think just at the time when it came out, I don't know. I just don't think I could have watched it week by week, and I think it was this after Kenobi. I think Kenobi kind of drained me at the time, but it's whatever. The show came back really good. Loved the last episode. Love how the plot was super personal. I like how it wasn't confusing. It wasn't some galaxy ending plot. He just wanted to go see his mom's funeral, and man, that was heartbreaking seeing Cassian receive the news about his mom. Just seeing him look up at the sky and stuff. It was just pretty heartbreaking. I felt for the guy losing a loved one myself in the last half year. It was rough seeing Cassian seeing what he went through this season, basically. So it kind of made me connect with him more. And I love that he took his name after his adopted mother, Martha. I thought that was a really cool detail. But yeah, I started season 2, and man, talk about a pop off to the first episode with the is it TIE Interceptor? I can't remember. Way better premiere episode than season 1. Cannot wait to catch up with you guys. Bye.
Bro, I want to know about this I can't swim moment, bro.
I don't know. He's going to have to, once he hears this, we want to know your response to I can't swim. Do you think he lived? Do you think he died? What happened?
The boy died, but still, I want to know how you reacted.
But yes, the finale of season 1 was very emotional. Gets us every time. Tons went down. Very entertaining. And yes, it was the TIE Avenger is what that one is. That was taken from the EU, and that was the first appearance in canon, I believe, of the TIE Avenger. So that's exciting. But we finally got to his final voicemail, number 7. Let's take a listen.
Hey, Shadrick here. I just want to say something real quick. I just wanted to say it has been great listening to the voicemails again, by the way. Hearing everybody's voicemails and their opinions or just whatever. Especially shout out to Will. Will freaking cracks me up. He's kind of a classic to me now in the Empire Radio. He just gives me very mischievous. Is that how you say it? Mischievous? I don't know, mischievous vibes every time he sends in a voicemail. His little evil, I guess, laugh, you could call it, at the end of his sentences just crack me up. I don't know what it is, but Will, you're awesome. And shout out to the rest of the Empire Radio listeners and everybody that participates. You guys are awesome and very entertaining to listen to in the voicemails. You guys have a good one.
Took the words right out of our mouths.
Yeah, Will hasn't sent in a voicemail in
For
who knows
real.
how long. Will,
Also,
what are
yeah.
you doing? Is he on line still?
I think so.
Well, I told him
Yeah,
that
he
he has
is.
to listen to the 7th voicemail tonight from Shadrach.
Well,
so
I hope
hopefully-
you actually were paying attention.
Yeah, so maybe we'll get a voicemail from Will
Yeah,
in the
we
near
haven't heard
future.
from Mr. Slacker.
Yep, but yes,
But I honestly, in Will's defense, I know it's weird. I'm going to defend him. But y'all been popping off, so he hasn't had to send in a Saved by the Bell
yeah,
voicemail in a while. So it makes
So
sense.
that's good. Yep, and so yes, I still remember remember when I did an impression of Will. I don't remember if someone can find that. You're right. So you go back and listen to every episode in like the last 3 years. See if you can find that voicemail of when I did an impression of Will. That was super funny. I even did his mischievous laugh too at the end. So the trademark laugh.
Should just record his laugh and have it as a button, like the get out button.
That'd be cool. Because if you can find it, I can clip that for you and send it to you.
Yeah, do it. I'll add it to my buttons.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you, Shadrach, for getting all those updates and thoughts on the shows that you've been watching.
Putting in work.
So what? So Bad Batch. So we gotta get him to watch Acolyte, though.
Or Skeleton Crew.
Skeleton Crew is a good one, but you gotta watch Acolyte. We really gotta
watch Skeleton Crew first, and then watch Acolyte, so that you don't get mad. And then you don't watch Skeleton
Or watch them
Crew.
both at the same time and send alternating voicemails as
Oh, true. That would be fun. Yeah, do that.
But no spoilers. All right, from us tonight on those shows. But yes, so now that Shadrach is all done, we have 3 more. One we haven't heard from in a little bit. Our good friend Rafa has a question.
Ooh.
And Drew kind of already answered this question a little bit, but we'll get a little bit more information. So let's take a listen.
Hey, Empire Radio, it's me, Rafa. I was just wondering, what's your favorite tea? I personally really love tea, and I was just wondering if you could recommend any good teas for me to try. That's it. Keep up the great work. Bye.
All right. Thank you, Rafa. Question is, what are some good teas? Mr. T is pretty good. He's pretty cool. That's the only tea I could think of. But Drew,
What about Booker T?
Booker T, there's that. Whether low T is really bad. But I don't know. Drew,
Talking tea is not the best behavior.
But Drew, you're a tea expert. What would you say?
Okay, that's aggressive. I'm not a tea expert.
How about this? You know a lot more about tea than I do, so you're more
That's
equipped.
Fair. A good oolong is really solid. You can't go wrong with a nice.
And what makes an oolong an oolong?
Is this a type of tea?
Is it like a certain blend, or is it a specific?
No, it's not blend. It's just a certain plant, I believe.
An oolong plant. Okay.
It's almost 1 a.m. Don't quiz me on tea plants right now. Or it's like a good green tea. I'm trying to think if this is a shameless plug and they can take credit for them. But if you want to shop at a decent tea place besides Wesley, which you should just buy Wesley's tea. They import their own. Go ahead. Use the code. Go do that. But also Spirit Tea is also a really good importer. They have a lot of good teas. You can't really go wrong. They have a Malabar, which is like a ginger blend. And anytime I feel a little nasally or a little sick, I drink that with honey. And I'm telling you, you can feel your body get better within minutes of drinking it. I'm not even kidding you. Like there was this one day, like a few months ago, I was at work, and we have that tea, and I was like, I felt like someone like just nasally like punched like in the face, kind of, and I drank that, and by like an hour into my shift, I felt like normal. I don't know what it does. There's some magic going on or something. The force.
Hopefully it's legal, whatever was in it.
It's just like it's so like for your throat, especially if you have like a sore throat. Drink this. It's all ginger and like turmeric. There's just like a lot of like vegetable stuff in there, that spices that just clear you out. Put some honey in it. It's really good. It helps. And then a good black tea. You can't, like a sunstone black tea. You can't go wrong with that. And if you want to get really wild, add some sugar. Ooh, doggy, some sweet tea. You can't go wrong with that.
All right.
But
cool. Well, there you go, Rafa. There's some recommendations for you. And we hope to hear from you again in the future.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next up, we have our good friend Yaretsi. So let's take a listen.
Hello, Empire Radio. This is Yaretsi. So, last week, I think it was Nasty Nate. I don't know, sent in a voicemail about how there's no cantaloupe flavored things, which is partly true. There's no like cantaloupe flavored candy or dessert or stuff, but in Mexico or just in the Hispanic community, they have these things called like aguas, which I guess would be like teas in English. I don't know how it would be, but we have like agua de Jamaica, which is basically just iced hibiscus tea, and like agua de sandia, which is watermelon made into a drink. And they have one for cantaloupe. It's called agua de melon. So if you ever wanted to make anything or buy anything that's cantaloupe flavored, that I'd say that's the best thing to try. It's actually really good. Bye.
Cool.
Look at all the tea talk tonight. What's going on?
So cantaloupe flavored tea / beverage. Interesting that it's a prominent cultural drink. It seems like she was implying. So that's kind of cool. So maybe it's just like
just the U.S.
Americans
horrible cantaloupe that
we're just obsessed with watermelon. We don't know how to.
Honestly, come to think it, I'm pretty sure there's like a Japanese cantaloupe blended drink. Now that I think about it.
Interesting.
So,
did you try it?
I think I've had it before.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, but it was like the green cantaloupe or whatever, you know. Well,
that's honeydew.
That's honeydew. Never mind.
Yeah, that's different.
JK.
Kids eat it. But you don't even like those either, right? Remember that watermelon debate we mentioned?
No.
Andrew didn't like honeydew either. Honeydew might be even better than cantaloupe. I don't know. Like if you can get a good honeydew.
A good honey, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, there's some good teas in Japan. They're obviously.
Did you bring some back with you?
No, I did not. They have like vending machines like everywhere in Japan, and I had like there was a tea one, and I got a drink out of it, and it was like the best. It was so cool.
Fun. All right, thanks again, Yaretsi. But last up, we have the coup d'etat verse, of course, from our good friend Garrett. So last week, what happened? Luke and Garrett were fighting Empress Palpatine.
Yes.
And then
she got away.
The Gungan showed up. The Gungan showed up at the end. All right, so let's take a listen to the rest of the continuing of the story.
Hey, Empire Radio, it's Garrett. Shortly after the alarm starts going off, the dreadnought we're in starts taking hits. I guess the Gungans came to play. The Empress begins to run away from Luke and I, so Luke chases her while I stay behind and try to get Anakin out of his containment field. As he falls into my arms, I feel the Force start to drain from my body into his. Now, I need to address a couple things from my Andor rant from last week. I apologize if it seemed like I was just dumping on the show the whole time. That was not my intent. I just was merely expressing a couple of small things I noticed while watching. Those things didn't have a huge effect in how I felt about the show as a whole. If anything, they positively impacted my feelings toward the end, because obviously this is all leading up to the final sacrifice of Andor. And speaking about how I feel about the show as a whole, I should probably clarify that a 7 out of 10 for me is actually pretty big. It's probably closer to a regular 8.5 out of 10, as I tend to be a bit harsh with rating things, as you can probably tell by my YouTube channel. But I do really love this show, as it adds a net positive to the Star Wars universe and has some amazing emotional moments, like when Bix finally overcomes her nightmares by taking out the Doctor. And the whole Gorman Massacre plotline was amazing, with the crazy fight between Andor and Cyril. Anyway, I just wanted to say that, and maybe like the first season, this one will only get better with a second watch.
All right, thank you. Well, the coup d'etat verse, the Gungans are in the fight. They're attacking. Empress Palpatine is on the run while Luke chases, and then Garrett is going to save Anakin.
Potentially lose all his force powers.
So he's force healing Anakin so he can fight. So it's going to be full strength Anakin versus Empress. This will be Luke, full strength Anakin versus Empress Palpatine, while Garrett's laying there drained of all his, got his life sucked out of him.
Maybe Luke will kiss you and then you'll be fine.
Maybe. Or Empress Palpatine will kiss you and then you'll get her power and then it's you versus the two Skywalkers. But we don't know. But he gave some clarification about his thoughts on Andor. So a 7. So, okay. When I think of like out of 10 scores, I think of it like A, B, C, D, F type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so like a 7 out of 10 is 70%. That's a C minus. That's like bad for me. But then you got like these people, like you've seen that the guy that does pizza
guy? Yeah.
I hate that stuff. Like he is like, he's like, this is amazing pizza. And he gives it
it's so good. It's an
8.1. It's an 8.1. Yeah. I'm like, no, give it a 9.5 or something. Like,
yeah.
I don't get those rankings. Like, how do you get them? If it's like the best pizza you've ever had, but you're only giving it like a 8.5, it's like the monster score. Like,
yeah. Well, there's this one shop in Minneapolis. I think it was Black Sheep, which honestly, I don't.
The one right down the street from
Wesley, and I actually don't like their pizza that much. But he gave them a 9.2, which is crazy. But yeah, you're right. It's the guy from
Portnoy.
Yeah, Dave Portnoy. He's from. He created. What's it called?
I can't remember.
It's a sports.
Yeah, there's some sports thing. Whatever.
They work with sports. I forget.
But I don't know. It's like people rank things differently based on their own numbers. Like
Barstool Sports.
Yeah. So, but for Garrett, a 7 is, like he said, an 8.5.
So what's a 10? I want to know what your 10 is.
Yeah, Garrett, let us know what
in Star Wars, if there's even a thing for you.
Is there a 10 out of 10 show in Star Wars? Also, is there a 10 out of 10 outside of Star Wars? Or what's your high, if you don't have a 10, what's your highest ranking TV show of all time?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, speaking of highest ranking TV show of all time.
I did not watch the trailer if you're about to ask.
Okay, it's not really, like 75% of it is just like scenes from previous seasons.
Oh, okay.
And it doesn't spoil anything. There's nothing in it. You can watch it.
Oh,
but
okay.
It's just do you see what the release dates are though?
Mm-mm.
So November 26th, so the day before Thanksgiving, is part 1. Part 2 is Christmas Day. Part 3 is New Year's Eve.
Heck yeah, dude.
So, and
that's good targeting because you're like, people are going to be home.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, they haven't confirmed it yet, but the rumors are that every single episode is like 2+ hours long.
Oh my. It better be.
So if there's 8 episodes, there's going to be
per part? Or
every
total?
part is at least 2 hours.
Well, how many episodes are?
I think it's 8 episodes. So we're going to get 16+ hours of content. And remember, season 4 finale was over 2.5 hours. So the series finale on New Year's Eve, that's going to be like a 4-hour episode, I bet. It's like, I don't know. I'm like super excited. Like Stranger Things. Oh, we're talking about, did I even say it? It's Stranger Things. No. That's what we're talking about.
I just knew exactly what you brought up.
But I don't know. I'm super
I need to
hyped.
go watch the last season because I like barely remember it.
Well, it's coming out in November, so I'm guessing in September I'm gonna get Netflix and just binge the whole series again.
Did you ever finish
No.
Cobra Kai?
No, I was waiting for Stranger Things to come out, so I'll finish Cobra Kai.
I haven't finished it either, so I'm with
I
you
watched
on
the
that.
first part of the final season, but I never watched because there's 3 parts total, right?
I think so, yeah.
So I gotta go watch.
I
that.
didn't even watch the first. I watched like the first 2 episodes, and I kind of like lost interest
Yeah,
because it's like, dude, they're like about to graduate high school, and they're still like, "Hey, don't fight him!" Like, just what are we doing? You're like 19 now. Like,
it's still
stop.
a good show. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm actually excited for the movie. I think that comes out this weekend. The new Cobra
Yeah,
Kai
I think it
movie.
already. Yeah, it came out this past weekend. Yeah, it takes place after
Cobra
the final
Kai.
season. So I don't know if there's gonna be any spoilers or not.
Ooh, truth. Maybe I should watch it.
But I don't know. But it'll be cool.
I still need to go see the new Stitch movie.
Oh, I don't care about that.
I think it looks fun. Miles would love it. Taking
Of
Miles, he would love it.
All right, cool.
All right.
Well, that is all the voicemails tonight. Thank you, Shadrach, Rafa, Yaretzi, and Garrett. So next week we are doing Nasty Nate's suggestion from like, I don't know, was it a month ago or a month and a half ago or something about
Something like that.
a minor change to Star Wars. We're doing a top 5 minor changes.
Minor changes.
So there are things that they're minor and that they're not going to like change anything really. It's just like in a moment, like what is a little tweak here, like a little change here, a little change there that just would make a scene or a moment or something or a character like just a little bit better. It's like cherry on top type of thing. So we're doing that next week. So if you're listening to this before that comes out, send in a voicemail with your minor change to Star Wars that you just like. It'd be cool if this little thing was tweaked a little bit. It wouldn't change the overall story, but it would be so impactful about how we see a scene or enjoy a scene or something like that, or a character or something. So let us know. We'd love to hear from you on that because we'll be doing our top 5s on that next week. And then after that, Comics with Grace. Doing Bounty Hunter comics. Have you started reading that yet? Because I have not.
I have, yeah.
So I gotta start binge reading that. And I'm hoping that my calculation on how long it's going to take will work just fine because I haven't read comics before. So we'll see how that goes. But we'll be doing that
tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll probably start this week. And then we have an interview with Sierra from Star Wars: The Old Republic Radio, which we had an interview with her sister Isabella a couple months ago. So there's that. And then we got to figure out the rest of our schedule for the summer. So there's that. But let's go over some social media and we can get out of here. So we got a comment on Spotify from someone who just found our podcast, our first ever episode. And so it was like, I'm going to listen to everything. So that means if there's still new people watching and listening. So if you're new, follow us on everything. So in the description below, links.co/Empire Radio, links below 2 eyes, landing page for everything Empire Radio. So follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch for live streams. We do live streams for every episode. And so you can fact check us like Yaretzi and Red Buff were saying some stuff like, we love to get your comments live while we're recording to help us out. Join the Discord too. We got a great Discord community, and if you want a place to talk about Star Wars or other random stuff, go join the Discord. It's a lot of fun. And we also have a fan email. So if you need to email us about anything, go right ahead. We'd love to hear from you. Anything else, Drew?
No, that's it.
All right, cool. Well, you've been listening to a Cad Bane-tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And may the Force be with you.
Always.